Hello everyone, welcome again to online session of Manu Law classes. My name is Dinesh Kumar and I am former assistant professor of law at Campus Law Center, Law Faculty, Delhi University, and presently I am working as an academic head of Manu Law classes. In today's session I will discuss with you one of the landmark judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, that is in the case of Rachna and others versus Union of India. But before moving to the discussion part of the landmark judgment, admissions are open at Manu Law classes for the upcoming courses of CLAT examinations, that is of 2022 and 2023. All of you can get yourself enrolled with us for getting the best result. For more information, you can dial the given number on the screen, and you may also visit our website, that is www.lawentrancindia.com. Dear students, we at Manu Law classes are also providing 15 days free trial to all the aspirants of upcoming examination of CLAT, and in these 15 days trial you will get the following benefits. Number 1, you will get the live classes with one-to-one interaction. Number 2, you will get the recorded conceptual lectures on various topics. Number 3, you will get the topic test, and number 4, you will get various sectional tests. In number 5, we will provide you the analysis of your performance, and this analysis will be done by our team of experts. For getting this benefit, first of all, you should find the link in the description below. Then you should locate sign up for 15 days free trial. Then you should fill the form, and then you would be eligible to get the benefit of this facility. So dear students, now we come to the today's case, and the name of the case is Rachna and others versus Union of India. This case was decided by Honorable Supreme Court on 24th Feb 2021. And in today's case I will discuss with you following legal and constitutional provisions. As far as the constitutional provisions are concerned, I will discuss with you Article 14, 19, 21, 32 and 142. And as far as the rules regarding civil services are concerned, I will discuss with you two rules, the Rule 4 and Rule 6 of the Department of Personnel and Training. As far as Article 14 is concerned, it provides for the equality before law and equal protection of laws. It means that there cannot be discrimination with any person, whether that person is a citizen of India or not, with respect to the equality before law, and no one shall be considered to be above the law or below the law, and all the persons would be given the equal treatment as per provided in the law. Now we come to Article 19. Article 19 is only available to the citizen of India, and under Article 19 citizens of India are entitled to get certain kind of freedoms. For example, the freedom to speech and expressions, freedom of peaceful assembly. As far as the today's issue is concerned, in today's issue Article 19 is relevant, that Article 19 clause 1 subclause G provides that every citizen of India shall have the right to choose his or her occupation, profession, any trade or business as per his or her own choice. Now we come to Article 32. Article 32 provides for this right to constitutional remedies. It is again a fundamental right in itself. It provides that if any of the fundamental right of any person is violated, then such person can directly move to Honorable Supreme Court under this article, and Honorable Supreme Court can issue various writs in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition and quo warranto. In today's case, writ of mandamus is important, that I will discuss with you. As far as Article 142 of Constitution of India is concerned, it provides that Honorable Supreme Court can issue any order, any direction or any decree or any judgment to do the complete justice. Means if there is any situation with any person that such person is deprived of justice, then this is an extraordinary power with Honorable Supreme Court. By exercising this power, Honorable Supreme Court can issue any order, any directions, any decree for doing the complete justice with the concerned person. As far as Rule 4 of the Department of Personnel and Training is concerned, this Rule 4 provides for the number of attempts to the various persons in India. I will discuss these rules subsequently. As far as the Rule 6 is concerned, it provides for the age limit with respect to the exam of UPSC, means IAS or Union Public Service Commission. So as far as the facts of today's case are concerned, basically this relate to the examination of 2020 of UPSC, and in this examination was scheduled earlier upon this 31st May, but it could not happen on 31st May due to the unprecedented situation of COVID-19 in our country and around the world. So this exam was rescheduled by this UPSC on 4th October 2020. Now the petitioner in this case were thought that they will qualify their last examination, but because of the unprecedented situation or unforeseen situation, they could not prepare effectively. This was their contention, and they claimed or they request to Honorable Supreme Court to issue the writ of mandamus against the respondents number 1 and respondents number 2. My dear students, there are two respondents. Respondent number 1 is the concerned ministry, means Ministry of Department and Personnel, and respondent number 2 is the UPSC, means Union Public Service Commission. So basically all these petitioners wanted that the UPSC should give one more attempt to those candidates who are going to be age barred because of this COVID-19, and they also requested to the concerned this respondents that they should be given an extra attempt, or either the concerned respondents should skip the examination of 2020 and this examination should be conducted in 2021. So if they would give this examination of 2020, so they would not be eligible to give the examination in 2021 because they will be barred by age as per Rule 6 of the concerned respondent. So they approached to Honorable Supreme Court that Honorable Supreme Court issue the writ of mandamus. Now I am telling you certain about the writ of mandamus. Writ of mandamus provides that if any public authority or any public servant does not discharge its duty in a proper manner, then writ of mandamus can be issued by Honorable Supreme Court under Article 32 or by Honorable High Court under Article 226 against such respondent or against such public servant. Now, but there are certain other facts in this case as well. Basically, earlier this exam was scheduled at 31st May and the respondents, means UPSC, issued the notification of this examination on 12th February 2020, and the date of examination was earlier 31st May 2020. But because of the COVID problem, this UPSC gave 4 month time extra to the candidates, and the next date was scheduled to be 4th October 2020. They consider that, means all the petitioners consider that if the UPSC or concerned ministry don't give them extra chance, then it would amount to the violation of their fundamental right under Article 14, 19 and 21 of Constitution of India. As far as Article 19 is concerned, if suppose a person wants to get the job in UPSC and he is denied this one chance or one extra chance to them, so he would not be able to get the occupation or profession of his choice. So this would also be against Article 19. As far as Article 21 is concerned, it is related to the right to life and personal liberty. So if the choice of a person is to be an officer in UPSC and he is not given an extra chance because of the COVID problem, then it would amount to right to life and personal liberty of that person under Article 21. So all these were the contention on the part of the petitioners in this case. As far as the Rule 4 of this concerned ministry are concerned, dear candidates or dear students, there are 6 attempts to the candidates who belongs to the general category. You know that the candidate belongs to general category don't get any kind of reservation, and this reservation has been given to them, 10% reservation to the economically weaker section, which has been recently announced by the constitutional amendment. But the entry age of UPSC examination is 21 years and the exit age is 32 years. It means that a person who has attained the age of 21 years and he is otherwise qualified, means he is graduate, then such person can attempt the examination of UPSC, and we can say that he is eligible for the examination of UPSC. And the maximum age limit is 32 years. Means a candidate is given 11 years chance, and in these 11 years he can avail only of 6 attempts if he belongs to the general category. Now we come to the candidate belonging to OBC or other backward classes. So if a person belongs to OBC, then he is given 9 attempts, and he would be eligible to give the examination at the age of 21 years, and he can give these attempt up to until he attains the age of 35 years. Means 21 ईयर में वो एलिजिबल होगा और 35 ईयर्स तक वो उन एग्जाम को दे सकता है, बिकॉज 3 years रिलैक्सेशन इज गिवन इन द केस ऑफ दिस OBC कैंडिडेट्स नाउ, बट इट इज subject to the rule of creamy layer. Now we come to the candidates belonging to SC and ST categories. So there is no limit of number of attempts with respect to the candidates belongs to the SC or ST category, but the limit of number of attempts is only applicable with respect to the candidates belong to the general category or with respect to the candidate belong to the OBC other category. As far as the SC or ST are concerned, there is no limit of number of attempts to them. As far as the rule 6 of this rule is concerned, the minimum age is 21 years and the maximum age is 32 years. So every aspirant can take the benefit or can benefit during this age gap only, and after getting the age of 32 years or after completion of the age of the 32 years, he would not be entitled to get the benefit, subject to the certain exceptions or circumstances, as I discussed with you in my previous slides. Now, as I discussed with you, this UPSC issued the notification of 12th February 2020, and the date of schedule was 31st May, and the date was considered, the date of examination was 4th October 2020. Now, so this 4-month time was extra given to all the candidates. 4 महीने का टाइम सभी कैंडिडेटों को एक्स्ट्रा दिया गया. यूपीएससी इस बात के लिए भी एग्री हो गई कि अगर किसी कैंडिडेट के अटेम्प्ट्स 9 अटेम्प्ट्स और 6 अटेम्प्ट्स कंप्लीट हो गए हैं, बट if he is still under the age of 32 years, then he can be given an extra attempt to give the examinations. But the petitioners in this case wanted that UPSC should give one extra attempt to all the candidates as well who are going to be age barred in the year of 2021. Means पेटिशनर्स इस केस में ये चाहते थे कि जो लोग 2021 में एज बार होने वाले हैं यूपीएससी से, यूपीएससी शुड गिव one more attempt to all those candidates as well. But UPSC was not ready to give this benefit to those candidates, considering the rule 6 of the concerned department. So all the petitioners also participated in the examination, and when they failed in the examination, then they instantly moved this Honorable Supreme Court by virtue of Article 32 and requested the Honorable Supreme Court that Honorable Supreme Court should issue the writ of mandamus against the concerned respondent, means concerned ministry and the UPSC. Now the legal issue before Honorable Supreme Court in this case was that whether petitioners, including some of the other placed person in the same situation, whether should be given an extra attempt because of the COVID-19 on the ground that they could not effectively participate in the examination. Effectively word is very important. Means main issue before Honorable Supreme Court ये था कि क्या COVID-19 की सिचुएशन की वजह से जो लोग प्रिपरेशन प्रॉपरली नहीं कर पाए, या हमारे जो पिटिशनर्स हैं इस केस में रचना एंड अदर्स, वो क्या इफेक्टिवली प्रिपरेशन नहीं कर पाए, एंड वेदर ऑल दीज कैंडिडेट शुड बी गिवन एन एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट irrespective of the fact whether it is their last attempt or whether they are going to be aged bar next year or not. Dear students, now we come to the contentions of the appellant one by one, and the first contention which was raised by the appellant was that they could not prepare effectively because of COVID-19, and they considered that they did not have the sufficient infrastructure and other adequate facilities. Sufficient infrastructure means some were taking offline classes at that point of time, because and some were doing the preparation in different way, some were living in the Mukherjee Nagar or any other place of competitive examinations. So because of the COVID-19 they could not prepare their preparations effectively. Second part of this contention was that some of them were working in the essential services during COVID-19. If we come to the second contentions on the part of this appellants, then the second contention was that if an extra attempt is not given to the petitioner, it would amount to the discriminations with them under Article 14. Now we come to the third contention on the part of the petitioner, and the third contention was that there are two kind of measures taken by the UPSC or the concerned ministry against the same aspirant of UPSC. So this UPSC or the concerned ministry have divided all the candidates into two categories. We can understand like this. First category, those who are below 32 years age but who have exhausted their all attempts, and second category, who are going to be aged bar in the next year of 2021 and they are not given any chance. So this was considered to be discriminatory and not a reasonable classification as per the requirement of Article 14. So this was considered to be against Article 14 further by the petitioners. Now we come to the fourth contention on the part of this appellant, and the fourth contention was that UPSC has given extra attempt in 2015 to some of the candidates on the ground that there was change in the syllabus, and it should be considered as a precedent. So if UPSC can give extra attempt in 2015, so it should be considered as a precedent, and now UPSC should also be ordered to give an extra attempt to all these petitioners in the given situation. Means अगर UPSC 2015 में एक एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट दे सकती है, तो यूपीएससी अब भी एक एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट दे सकती है, या ऑनरेबल कोर्ट यूपीएससी को बोले कि वो इस सिचुएशन में पेटिशनर को एक एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट और दे। एंड द फिफ्थ सिचुएशन वाज दैट since in the given situation UPSC is doing injustice with the concerned candidate or concerned petitioner, so Honorable Supreme Court invoke the power under Article 142 to do the complete justice, and Honorable Supreme Court should direct the respondents, means UPSC and concerned ministry, to provide them one more attempt to the petitioners. So all these were the contentions on the part of this appellant. Dear students, now we come to the contentions of respondents. So there are two respondents as I discussed with you. One is the concerned ministry and other is the UPSC. As far as the contentions on the part of respondents are concerned, their first contention was they could not prepare effectively. This situation was with everyone, and respondent did not change the syllabus of UPSC since 2015. Means UPSC contended that as far as the contention of the petitioner that they could not prepare for the UPSC examination of 2020 because of the COVID-19. So UPSC contended that this situation of COVID-19 was with everyone, and everyone was similarly affected by this situation or from this situation. Moreover, UPSC did not change the syllabus of exam since 2015. So if it were the contention on the part of this appellant that they could not prepare effectively because of COVID-19, UPSC contended that since if they are considering their last attempt, so obviously they were giving this examination for last 5 or 6 years, and if it is their last attempt, then they could have prepared the examination better, because earlier they were also preparing for the examinations, and generally 3 to 4 months are required for the preparation of this examination. Moreover, UPSC give 4 month extra time. So because earlier this exam was scheduled at 31st May and subsequently it was held on 4th October. So there was a time gap of 4 months here, and as per general rule or general understanding of any candidate who is preparing for UPSC earlier, 3 to 4 months are sufficient to prepare the UPSC for the purpose of preliminary examination. So they should not be given any extra attempt in the given situation. Now we come to the second contention. UPSC contended that if an extra attempt is given only to those petitioners who are going to be age barred in the year of 2021, and this attempt is not given to the candidates who are going to be affected due to any other circumstances, then it would also amount to discrimination between the same candidates on the two different grounds. Now we come to the third contention on the part of UPSC, that if UPSC has given an extra attempt to those candidates who has not completed their age of 32 years but who have exhausted all of their attempts, and not providing extra attempt to those candidates who are going to be barred in next year, that is 2021, it is a policy decision of UPSC. Means अगर UPSC उन लोगों को अटेम्प्ट दे रही है, एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट देने के लिए रेडी है, जिनकी एज लिमिट 32 ईयर्स से कम है, लेकिन उन लोगों ने अपने सारे अटेम्प्ट एग्जॉस्ट कर लिए हैं, और UPSC उन लोगों को एक्स्ट्रा अटेम्प्ट नहीं दे रही है जो कि नेक्स्ट ईयर एज बार्ड हो जाएंगे. सो दिस इज द पॉलिसी डिसीजन and court is not supposed to interfere in the policy decision of the executive. Next contention, or the contention number 4 on the part of this UPSC was that if the UPSC has given an extra attempt in 2015, that was justified as per that situations, because there was the change in the syllabus. So if there is change in the syllabus, people required some more efforts to study the new syllabus. But as far as this present situation is concerned, there is no change in the syllabus since 2015. So person has 5 or 6 years, a person is studying the same content since last 5 or 6 years, so he does not require any extra attempt. Now the fifth contention on the part of this UPSC was that Article 142 can only be invoked by Honorable Supreme Court when there is injustice and there are no express provisions of the law to do the justice. Then only this Article 142 can be invoked by Honorable Supreme Court to do the complete justice. So in this case, there is no injustice with the petitioners in the given situation, so there is no need to invoke Article 142 of Constitution. Now we come to the decision of Honorable Supreme Court. Basically what happened in most of the Honorable Supreme Court in this case approved most of the contentions of the respondent, means the concerned ministry and this UPSC, and did not give benefit to the petitioners. But I am reading this first part. It is a lame excuse on the part of petitioners in this case, because means the contention on the part of petitioner that they could not prepare effectively is a lame excuse on the part of the petitioner, that or because this situation of COVID-19 was with everyone, that they could not prepare effectively for the examinations. If this was the case, they were given the opportunity to withdraw their form, but they did not withdraw their form, rather they also participated in the examinations. Now, second point was very important, that petitioners participated in the exam, and when they failed, they challenged this examination. Means if a person has already participated in a game, and if such person fails subsequently, then he cannot be allowed to challenge the rules of the game. Similar situation happened in this case. If they were not adequately prepared, if they were not effectively prepared, they should not have participated in the examinations. So if they have participated in the examinations and did not withdraw their form from the website of the UPSC, then it means that they were well prepared, and now they will not be allowed to challenge the decision of the UPSC or the concerned ministry that they were not given or they should be given an extra attempt. Now, as far as the contention on the part of petitioners that it is a policy decision of the executive, and this court means the Honorable Supreme Court or any court of the country is not supposed to interfere into the policy decision of the executive. Court can only interfere into the policy decision of the executive when there is some express provision, violation of any express provision of law, or if the policy is arbitrary in nature. But this is not found by the Honorable Supreme Court in this case. Now, as far as the chance given by the respondent in 2015 is concerned, so the situation of 2015 were different from this present situation, because in 2015 there was the change in the syllabus, and that was considered to be a justified ground by Honorable Supreme Court. And as far as the ground of not effectively preparation by the appellant in this case was not considered to be a justified ground. Now, Honorable Supreme Court itself held that as far as the invoking of the decision under Article 142 of Constitution of India is concerned, it cannot be invoked in the given situation because there is no injustice with the petitioners, considering all the facts and circumstances of the case. So, dear students, that's all for today. I will come again with the next path-breaking judgment of Honorable Supreme Court. If you have any doubt regarding the case, any clarification, you may mention your query in the comment box. We will reply you. Until then, please take care of yourself and follow the guidelines of the government regarding the COVID prevention, and please be careful. Thank you very much.